What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and I'm here with my girl Stacey Tisdale from Wealth Wednesdays.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everyone, and we are bringing it once again. We are so excited to bring you know who this person is, Vivian 2.
Your rich BFF, baby.
She is your rich BFF, and she's also a former Wall Street trader. You guys know her from social media and the host of podcast Net Worth and Chill. And she has a new book coming out, and don't be fooled by the title, but y'all are going to be well endowed.
Yes. And you also know her other book, Rich AF.
Yes,
Rich
AF.
Because that gets referenced a lot.
New York Times best-selling book, Rich AF.
You know what? We have to have a fun, spicy title.
Yes, I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah.
I know.
But, being well endowed is a great thing in many ways.
Yeah. I mean, listen, okay, so everybody loves to ask, why is it titled Well Endowed? But if you actually, get past the 12-year-old boy joke, think about the phrase well endowed. It's describing something. It's describing an endowment. And what is an endowment? You've heard this phrase, like Harvard's endowment or your favorite charity's endowment. An endowment is literally just a pile of money that you invest, it grows, and then it allows any organization to further their mission into perpetuity, aka into the future forever. I want all of us to be well endowed. I want all of us to have a pile of money that we can invest, that can grow for the future, so that you can actually buy the life that you want.
Yes.
Because I feel like so many people these days make money, they work hard, and then they look at their lives and they're like, this isn't what I bargained for. Where did all my money go? And they have a closet full of stuff or a garage full of cars, and they're still not satisfied.
Oh, that's a fact.
There's a difference in the tone, the energy, and the emotion of Rich AF and Well Endowed.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about what was the personal transformation in you between those two books. And I was really struck by an aha moment you had with your parents. Tell us about that.
I mean, listen, I think Rich AF was all about my young person journey of how do I get smart with my money? Budgeting, saving, investing, debt pay down. But Well Endowed is the more the older, more mature, I have it kind of figured out version of me. But it got to a point where I was starting to make really good money. I had this life that I loved, but it wasn't necessarily leading me to all of the things that I really cared about.
Right.
I didn't have, the freedom to spend my time the way I wanted to. I mean, my parents were at my place. I had just sent them on an all-expenses paid vacation, and then they came to visit me in New York, and I could barely get 3 hours out of my workday to take them to brunch and hang out with them for a couple hours, and I don't see them enough. And so for me to feel like I have all this money, but I don't understand what true value is, that was a very big aha moment where I was like, I need to reframe, reset. What is this money for? And how do I actually get the life I want?
It's interesting because you talk about how your parents were when you were growing up and milestone moments that they missed, but you really wanted to have them there.
Yeah.
And then in this aha moment, you see yourself kind of doing
I'm doing the same thing.
what they did
It's
to
so sad.
you, to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I've been spending a lot more time with my parents, which is not something that I've done, but it's, I think sometimes when things happen, there is always that moment where there's a shift and a click, oh, there's some things that really matter to me that I need to be focused on. And everything is not about it's great that you can do those things for them because that is important. I love the fact that my parents can come to my house. They can be comfortable. There's space. I can order them food, which I do order. And I know sometimes I wish I would be at home making food, but time is money.
And your time, by the way, is the only thing in this lifetime that you can't make more of. You get what you get. And listen, you can eat healthy, you can exercise, you can do all of that stuff. But I'm saying you can go and make more money. You can't make more time.
Right.
And the older you get, you realize how much, relationships were the most important thing. How long till I figured that out? But I love how you're saying, so you've basically shifted and been wealth is about doing what I value.
Yeah.
How do you talk to someone about that and convey that message to someone who's on their way up to building wealth so that they don't fall into that I need more money trap?
I think really simply put, this is so funny to say because I started my career on social media, but I feel like social media sets us up for failure. keeping up with the Joneses in our parents' generation was you looking across the street and seeing if your neighbors had the new car and like maybe they got a flat screen TV. But now keeping up with the Joneses is keeping up with the Kardashians. And all of a sudden I'm looking inside of people's private jets. I'm seeing them literally rent out private islands. I don't have private island money. I want to be very clear. Like I have
depends which island, I think.
Angela! But you know what? Like I think it's silly because like I don't need those things to be happy, right? Like I don't need to fly on a private jet to feel joy in my life, to feel really rich, to feel really wealthy.
I want to say I flew on a private jet once in my life.
And it was scary.
It wasn't like the nicest one. It was kind of like because there's different levels of private jets too.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
There's definitely like an Airbnb jet that it felt
No, not Airbnb jet.
I mean, not Airbnb. I'm sorry. I meant to say Uber jet.
Uber jet,
It was like
okay.
an Uber
Yeah,
jet.
yeah.
It felt. Yeah. I was like, I'd rather have been in first class.
Yeah, but it's more. I think the big struggle is that like we convince ourselves that the next big purchase is going to make you happy, right? You get the really fancy vacation, you get the next designer bag, you get the next XYZ, and it's like a dopamine hit and you're happy for like 30 minutes. It's the best 30 minutes. But then it's on to the next thing.
Right.
It's on to the next thing. But like I went through my closet this past year and I pulled out so many things that I had to have at the time. And they all got donated.
Right. Maybe you wear it once or never at all, because sometimes we buy things. And
Yeah.
then you talk about this advertising and this whole like you feel like you can only wear something one time, and once you're pictured with it,
Click, you're done.
Yeah, you're like, I can't wear this again, and I do that too.
And it's so evil, by the way, especially for women, because think about this: a man can wear a suit to every single wedding that he is invited to.
Change the tie.
I gotta have a new dress though, otherwise. Ew, why does this girl only have one dress?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, like I have a washing machine, or like I can go to the dry clean. Like the dress is clean, but it's not weird for my husband to wear the same suit over and over again.
Right.
But it's like kind of an expectation that like we are constantly looking new because that's what we see on social.
Yeah.
Because we see our favorite celebrities constantly getting new clothes, wearing new things, which by the way, all a facade.
Yeah.
As someone who is now in the industry, I literally had a stylist come with me today.
And you're like,
I look nice
bring
because
this back.
she dressed me. I have to give it back though.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. And people,
But it also makes more sense for you to do that. I do want to say.
Yes.
If we talk about time management and we talk about money, economically, are you going to buy this outfit and then keep it and never wear it again? Or would you rather pay a stylist and it's not going to be as much as you having to continually buy new clothes
100%.
to be on tour?
100%.
And she's going to style you. It saves you the time and headache of
and
having
she
to
has
go.
a better like vision of fashion than I do. And so like I just think that like we have to convince ourselves and realize that like our regular lives are enough. We deserve to be happy, but we don't need to necessarily buy one more thing to be happy.
That's a big that's mindset shifting.
100%.
So what are the tools and things that you give people to stand up to that? Because it's human nature. That's our brains are wired to compare.
Yeah.
So that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And how do you kind of go to a deeper level so you don't get pulled away by that feeling?
I ask myself this one question before I buy anything. Do I want this thing, or do I want people to know I have it? So for me, I'm gonna be very vulnerable with you guys here. I got my driver's license at 16 when regular, young people get them. I drove for 9 months to school for my last year of high school, and then I went to college. And I went to college in a city, so I didn't drive for those 4 years. Then I moved to New York City, didn't drive for all that time. It's been like over a decade since I've been behind the wheel of a car. If you ask me to drive some very fancy luxury car and a Toyota Prius, I probably could not tell you the difference in the handling, or I couldn't really appreciate the V8 turbo engine. I don't know what any of those words mean. But I would want people to know that I drive a really fancy Bentley because it's sexy. It's something nice to say. But when I think about the things in my life that I've purchased that have brought me the most value, they're not things that are really exciting to brag about.
Right.
They're like, oh, I got a really, really good mattress because my back was hurting. But like, what am I going to be like, hey guys, guess what kind of mattress I have?
I love my mattress. I saw you, and you talk about that in the book also. Are you okay with this purchase if no one even knows about it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then those are the ones that are important, like a mattress. And I do want to say, a mattress is we spend so much time in bed.
a third of your life.
Yeah. Why not have an amazing mattress? And nobody needs to know. Who cares? Like, but I think you'll get a mattress deal from that. I thought about that.
We all need new
Give
mattresses.
my rich BFF a mattress deal.
You guys are so funny.
Because you can be well
We all need
endowed
good
in the bed.
mattresses.
Oh my gosh, Angela.
Well, we had to do it.
Yeah.
This amazing perspective you have on money. I know a lot of it came from Orphan Duffy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the Orphan Duffy story.
Yes. Okay. So when I was in the 5th grade, I was in the play Annie. And this was like the hot ticket. All the kids wanted to be in this play. And some of them were so tone deaf that their parents then had to complain to get them a part. Fortunately for me, I got a part. And not only I got a part with lines and songs that I had to sing.
Ooh.
And so I was feeling pretty good about myself. I'm in this play, and all of these parents are, coming to this play. They're coming with flowers and a teddy bear and all this to see their, precious little 5th grader in this play. But both of my parents worked. I'm a first-generation immigrant kid, so my parents came here to this country, and they were focused on survival. This was not about, we have to thrive. This was, we got to make ends meet. And we have to make the math. So both of my parents worked. They worked, pretty decent drives away from our home. And I remember they didn't come to any of the play. Like, we put it on for 3 nights in a row. They didn't come to any of them. But they would come and pick me up from the parking lot afterwards. I didn't have any flowers. There was no fanfare. This was just a fun little after-school activity that my parents thought I wanted to do. And I was so jealous and resentful of all these other kids who had these amazing, cute little picturesque, like Lifetime movie families.
Right.
And my parents couldn't do that for me. And so I, in my head, just being kind of like a bitter kid, was like, I will never do this to my children. Mm-hmm. But we talked about this.
Yeah.
I literally did it to my parents.
You just did it to them.
I literally just did it to my parents because I was like, oh, it's more important for me to provide stability and money and all of these things for my parents to be able to help them retire, yada, yada, yada. Not to realize that, like, all my parents wanted in that moment was just to spend a couple hours with me.
I want to ask you, when I was reading that part about, first of all, I was trying to remember who Orphan Duffy was. I was like, okay, I got to go back. But I was also wondering for your parents to even know that. And that you felt that way. Were you ever
Did you talk to them about it?
Yeah, able to express that to them too? Because sometimes, they
Kids
don't
don't
know.
though.
You know what it was? Maybe I don't think I brought it up in that instance, but it had happened over the course of my elementary school education because some of the moms, and I used to call them the PTA moms, because there were many families in my neighborhood that could survive off of one parent's income. There was a breadwinner and there was a stay-at-home mom in most cases. And those moms were really involved in the school, and sometimes they would come to lunch and bring their kid Subway or McDonald's, and it was such a treat. But my mom never did any of that. My mom was busy. My mom was trying to make money. And so I think there was one instance that I just made a comment about how, this one kid's mom is a PTA mom. I wish you could be a PTA mom. And I think it really hurt my parents, if I'm honest. But, they got down to eye level. And this wasn't even a situation where I got in trouble or they yelled at me, but it was just they explained. They were like, we don't have the, facilities, the resources to do that. And I'm sorry that sucks, but life's not fair. And
Left an impression.
It really did. Yeah. I was just what am I supposed to say to that?
Right.
But I think there were many moments throughout the course of my childhood, throughout my teenage years, when it became very abundantly clear to me that other families had more money than us, that I never, ever wanted to feel like this as an adult. I was I'm going to be rich. That was my goal.
Yeah.
I was I don't care what job I do. I need to make as much money as humanly possible.
Money.
Because I never wanted to feel like I couldn't have something or that I couldn't be there for something. And it hurt so bad.
Yeah. There was other good. Look, I'm going to stay in your childhood for just a minute.
Wow, we're just trauma dumping.
There was
here.
no. Okay, buffet strategy.
Okay.
Not a buffet.
I just want to say, my dad is Chinese. And
Yeah.
when I tell you the buffet strategy is a real...
It's real.
This is cultural.
They love a buffet. We're going to a buffet for things. We go to buffets for like Thanksgiving, Chinese New Year's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
That buffet is a thing, and we got to go up several times, whether or not we're hungry.
First off,
I can
hunger
see your
has
dad.
nothing. Hunger has
You better
nothing
get
to
that free
do
food.
with how much you eat at a buffet. Okay, so
It does not.
it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're hungry or not. You're gonna eat until we get the value. So the Chinese buffet story is growing up. Again, my parents didn't have too much money to spend on dining out. But when we would go out to eat, we would go to a Chinese buffet because it was the most value optimized place to go.
Absolutely.
And what we would do is, first off, my parents were 1,000% lying about me being like 11 for like 4 years. I didn't get that growth spurt, and they were like, cool, she's 11 again. But we would go to this buffet, and my parents would get like the half rate for me because I was 11. And then there was a strategy. We would go and stand by the seafood area where they would bring out like the crab, the shrimp, the lobster, all of the very expensive stuff, like the stuff that you know is like premium ticket when you go to the grocery store. And after you ate as much as you could humanly eat of that, like you can't button your pants at this
More
point.
than you, maybe put some in your bag.
Yeah. Truly. You thought I wasn't bringing a Tupperware. After that, you would then go to the meats. But I'm not talking like chicken. I'm talking the expensive meats, like the steaks, lamb, pork, okay? We would do that. Again, at this point, you feel ill. Then you would go to the vegetable section. Not cheap vegetables like broccoli. I'm talking pea shoots, snow peas, like the expensive vegetables, okay? Once you get your fill of vegetables, then and only then.
Can you get what you really want?
Yeah, which is, by the way, I was 11, quote unquote. I wanted to get pizza. I wanted to get fried rice. And my parents were like, don't you dare eat that because it's the lowest value item. So I've eaten seafood, meat, and vegetables. And now I'm finally allowed to have a little bit of carbohydrate. But because I have always been taught to seek out value and optimize for price, I feel like making smart financial decisions and like optimizing my life is like a birthright because we have been doing it since we were kids.
Yep.
And our parents would instill in us how to do it. Like even now, like I took my parents out to dinner and I was like, oh yeah, can I get like a Diet Coke? And I ordered appetizers and my parents were like,
oh, they get freaked out.
They were like, no. Everybody drinks water. Everybody drinks water, and we get one main each.
And I hate when they ask, how much is that? How much was the bill? And you're like, don't worry, you're not even paying it.
You're not paying it. Why are you asking me?
Why do you care how much it
You're their
was?
baby.
Yeah, but you know what? Even when it's my money, my parents want to save it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just cultural.
Anytime my dad asks me how much something costs, I lie.
Yeah.
Or, I'm like, I don't remember. It was on sale. I think it was like, I think this was like $25. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yes.
Like, I can't even tell them what stuff costs anymore because then they won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just be
my dad likes
panicking
free
about that.
stuff. Like, if I get him something and I'm like, I got this for free. Somebody sent it to me at work. He's like, oh, and then he'll love it. But if I tell him I pay for it.
He hates.
Yeah.
Hates. You shouldn't have bought that,
Yeah,
Angela.
He gets it. What'd you buy this for?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is
This
ridiculous.
is so interesting,
Yeah.
listening to the two of you. I give a speech at a university, and a Chinese woman came up to me after, and she was crying. And I'm like, was my speech that bad? And she's like, no. And she's like, I just got into Harvard Business School. And I'm like, I really don't know why you're crying now.
Right, yeah.
And what I was talking about is cultural conditioning and how that plays out in our families and stuff. And she said her parents would not even let her consider taking on student loan debt to pay for that university because of their relationship with debt. And in the speech I was giving, it was the first time she saw it's not personal. I'm not a bad person. It's cultural conditioning. That's why she was crying. But that's so deep.
That's so funny, too, because
I'm not a bad speaker. I'm sorry.
You're a great speaker. My dad had this like conspiracy theory, which, by the way, guys, this is not true. So I applied to a lot of very top universities, and they were elite schools, and they all say that we're need blind. So like your application is considered regardless of if you can pay for the university or not. And I was like, Dad, like, should we apply for financial aid? And my dad was convinced. He was like, absolutely not, because they say they're need blind, but they're definitely need looking, and they're looking. And if you need money, they're not going to let you in. And this was a time when, like, you know, there was a lot of pressure on me to like get into a good university, because in many immigrant communities, especially my family, it felt like the only key to socioeconomic like mobility and like the ability to like increase where my station in life was to get that education.
Yeah.
And so my dad was like, we're not taking any chances. We don't believe in
full
that.
tuition.
Yeah.
But you know what it was? I got a merit scholarship from the college I went to. So they paid for a hefty portion of it. Then I got a bunch of outside scholarships. And then my parents helped me fund the rest of it with a 529.
Yeah.
How's that pressure playing on you when you're in school, knowing you're going to have to do that stuff?
Oh, well, I mean, there was no pressure because my life, my fate was decided for me. Please. I was told that I could be a lawyer, doctor, and engineer. And when I found finance, they were like, okay, that's a bonus fourth option. Fine. That works.
We can deal with that.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
But there were people who were like, I want to be a English major or a classics major or a philosophy major. But you know what? My parents were like, good for them. That's not for you. Like, that was not available to me.
Yeah, you're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So, you know, I think it was pretty clear to me that like after school, I wasn't getting a dime of help from my parents, and I didn't. I moved to New York City from Chicago. I went to the University of Chicago. I moved there based on the money that my first job gave me as a relocation bonus. So
wow.
I used that money to pay two guys from campus who were also moving to New York. We got a U-Haul together, and I paid them a little extra for them to drive it. And I flew because I'm not confident in driving a U-Haul across state lines.
I'm not either.
But like, I used that money, and I knew my parents weren't going to help me. And so I was like, I need to make money. Again, I want to be rich, but also my parents aren't going to help me. I don't have parents that can help me with rent. I don't have parents that can help me, you know, buy a new wardrobe for my job. I have to pay for this myself. And I did. And so I think for me, there was that consistent conditioning of like, you are getting a huge privilege by not having student loan debt, but you better make something of yourself. You better figure it out, because there's no safety net after this.
You know, Vivian, you also in Well Endowed, you talk about relationships. You talk about marriage. Dan, do we have the clip? Now, this isn't in the book, but this is a viral clip, and I want to get your take on this. This is Cameron from Talk with Flea, and he's actually on his show talking to his ex-girlfriend about the time that she needed some money. Yeah. And he, I guess, didn't give it to her. And I want you to hear their back and forth explanation, and I want you to kind of analyze this.
Okay. We're going to analyze.
So as a woman, if I share my body with a man, I shouldn't expect him to want to protect and provide for me?
I rather invest in my female than give my female. And that's the problem.
You never invested in me.
Because you had bad investments. That's why you're in nursing school.
That's not why I'm in nursing school. I've been working on my nursing degree since 2019.
Why you don't have it yet?
I opened the business to help me get through nursing school.
Which was a bad
income.
Which was a bad investment.
Wow.
There's a lot to unpack.
Wow. Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts on her saying that if I'm laying down with a man, he should be protecting and providing, and then him saying that he doesn't want to give you money, but he would invest, and then she's saying he didn't, and then he's saying
you make bad
investments.
investments.
A bad investment.
So I want to get your
calling
thoughts
her a
on
bad investment. He's calling her a lot of names.
Yeah. Okay. So I think one, we are listening to a post-relationship couple, right? So like, they already don't like each other.
Yeah.
So we have to look at it through that lens. They're saying some nasty stuff about each other. But I think it is unreasonable for any partner to expect their partner to fund their lifestyle. So I think she's in the wrong for expecting him to pay for everything. However, I do like what he said about, I don't want to give you money. I want to invest in you. I want to like help you. I want to teach you. I want to give you resources, because I feel like the, you know, teach a man to fish versus give a man a fish is a better strategy. However, listen.
She's like, there's a lot here.
There's a lot going on here. I think that he made some really good points. he asked why she hadn't completed the nursing degree. It sounds like there was some sort of failed business venture. It seems like there were some poor judgment calls made when it came to her spending, to how she was, using that money. I feel like
business knowledge.
The business knowledge just wasn't 100% there. I think at the time when they were still together, when they still liked each other, a more loving and more caring thing to do on both of their ends versus him being like, you're a bad investment, and her being like, you don't care about me and you don't provide for me, is they actually needed to sit down and be like, hey, Cameron, you're this incredible artist. You're probably touring. You're probably busy. I'm taking care of certain things at home. I'm making sure that when you come home, there's a hot meal on the table. I'm doing all of this. As a woman, that is unpaid labor. You have expectations of what I'm bringing to the table. So there needs to be some sort of compensation for that unpaid labor.
Looking at it as a job.
Correct.
And this is what is what I get every month for doing that.
It's the same thing with a stay-at-home parent.
Yeah.
When the
That's
stay-at-home,
a real job.
when the stay-at-home
It's a
parent
job.
is the chauffeur, the chef, the nanny, the housekeeper, they're everything. But then
Working women have to do all that
right.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but just to say that if your husband goes out and makes all the money and then you do all of those things at home, the money he makes is not his money, it's your together money.
Yeah, because people always act like she don't work, she stays at home. That is a lot of work.
It's so much work.
Doing
You're
or
touching
vice
on
versa.
so many things because
Yeah.
a lot of women will, take care of their kids. Someone, there's that unspoken thing. You're the breadwinner. I'm going to stay home and take care of the kids. Always telling them, put a value on that.
Yep.
And
And
that's
that's
money
why
because
you need a prenup.
Because what you just heard from her is what happens when you're completely financially dependent on somebody and the relationship falls apart.
Yeah.
I never want to have to depend on a man.
Yeah.
Right, because
Never.
if you're financially independent, you can conduct yourself differently in the relationship.
You get to make decisions out of a place of abundance. You have options. You have choices. When you are dependent on someone else, if they have the power to feed you, they have the power to starve you.
That's why you want to be well endowed.
Now, can we talk about getting financially naked
Yes.
in a relationship and what that means?
Yeah. So getting financially naked is so uncomfortable because you have to lay it all out there. You have to talk about what you make, what you have in terms of assets, what you owe in terms of debt, and also what your spending and expenses are. And I feel like more relationships would succeed if people got financially naked earlier and got naked later.
Yeah.
Because we feel so comfortable now, especially as pop culture has, become more and more progressive. People are really comfortable talking about intimacy. People are really
Yes.
comfortable talking about bodies and, relationships like that. But you need to be just as comfortable getting financially naked because nearly half of couples don't talk about money until they're already engaged.
Wow.
You've already made some sort of financial investment at this point to say we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. The problem is money and intimacy are the top two reasons why couples fight.
I was going to say, I wonder if that's the same 50% that are
Right.
that are the 50% of married couples that get divorced.
Right. I mean, listen, I just think if you are able to eliminate one of the top two reasons why couples fight, you're just going to have a better relationship.
Yeah.
It's so telling. Also, my ex-husband and I, best friends, great co-parents. We were married for 10 years. We were never able to talk about money easily. Never. And that was such a red flag.
Yeah, that's indicative of a
That
lot
was
of
a
other
red
things. Like how
flag.
you're able
Yeah.
to, even how somebody handles their finances,
Yeah.
also can tell you a lot about
Yeah.
them.
100%. I always say this person doesn't need to be debt free. They don't need to be the richest person. They don't need to be the biggest earner. They need to value a dollar the same way you do.
And they need to be honest. It's like having the same love language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. Stacey was talking earlier about the journey between Rich AF and Well Endowed and the things you've been through, because you're able to talk about marriage and buying a house and a car, some of the biggest purchases, that you'll make, and compare buying versus leasing.
Yeah.
There's always these conversations online that turn into arguments with people.
People just like to argue.
You see the argument about home ownership. And like you said, this is not a one-size-fits-all thing.
No.
Right? And so even with home ownership, that's a conversation that people are having. Do I rent? People are talking about why, some people will tell you renting is a better idea and I only rent and I wouldn't want to own a home and all the problems that come with it. Some people will tell you that owning a home is a bad idea. Some people will tell you that renting is a bad idea. And it's never a one size fits all.
Never.
Great point.
But you give us a lot of tools to figure out what will work for us.
Yeah, 100%. Because how crazy would it be to say that millions and millions of people should all be doing the exact same thing? You don't make the same type of money. You don't live in the same geographical region, which, by the way, real estate is entirely geographically dependent. But also, like, your lifestyle is different. Like, if you are someone who's trying to plant roots, you know you're going to be here for over a decade, buying might be a really smart way for you to build equity in a property that you are going to be in for a long time. Great. Maybe you are young. Maybe you have the opportunity to get a big promotion if you go and run the Tokyo office, the London office, the LA office, and all of a sudden, you got to pick up your life and move in 3 months. Are you going to be able to get out of your house in 3 months? I don't know. The housing market is not that liquid. And so you have to think about what are the things that are going to cost you money and what you're going to make money from. But like, again, you want to be in a place for less than 5 to 7 years. You know what the closing costs on a house are? You don't get that money back.
Right.
That doesn't go into the equity of your house. That gets paid to people. So the frictional costs are very high. Homeowners associations or building fees in New York.
Don't have a mansion tax because that's high.
That's high.
Yeah.
But like, I got back from the winter holidays this year, guys. My HVAC was broken. Oh, there's $10,000 I wasn't planning on spending that I now have to pay a contractor to rip open my ceiling. I have to pay the HVAC guys to come redo the coil. Then I have to pay the
guy to come
general
do the
contractor to
drywall.
come do the drywall again. And now all of a sudden I've paid a bunch of people. I've spent $10,000 and my house looks the same.
And it's just like that.
And it's so
you
fast.
have to do it.
You know what I would have liked to spend $10,000 on? Literally anything else. Like, you know, being a homeowner is great. I own in New York City.
Yeah.
But I'm also a renter in Florida. And if I were to go to Los Angeles for some TV work, I would probably rent there. I don't know what my life looks like, but I need to have flexibility. I need to be able to have all of these things. And so I think there are benefits to both. There are cons to both. And you have to think about your lifestyle.
Absolutely. I have 3 homes that I own that are investment properties and one that I use that I rent.
Yep, exactly.
For that flexibility. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, one thing that, and I'm always trying to grow my knowledge financially. And when you talked about homeownership not being as liquid, that is something that I was just told by the person who I'm working with my finances. They're like, okay, you need to get some more liquid assets for yourself. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Because I've always been so big into real estate. And so I feel I'm just comfortable in like tangible.
You like to be able to touch the wall and be like, this is mine. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
When I say the word liquid, what that really just means is like, how quickly can you turn something into cold hard cash?
Because you're going to need it without taking on debt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like buying investments in the stock market, very liquid. You can sell in and out of those probably in a day or two. Like you need, 3 to 5 days for the funds to clear, but you're in and out in a week. Great. Making investments in real estate, do you think if I listed a home on Monday, it would be sold, signed, sealed, and delivered by the following Monday? I don't think so.
Right.
You're back in that cultural stuff because in the Black community, first of all, we used to be property.
Right.
So it's got a very special thing there. We don't trust financial institutions for very, very good reasons, and we understand real estate. But you're starting to see the younger generations doing something different. And they're like, I don't want that real estate. And they're putting it in stocks.
Yeah. Well, I also think in particular, like the African-American community has been systematically prevented from making real estate investments. Whether it was actually prevented, like redlining or being chased out of neighborhoods, but even just more soft biases, I'll call them, or just frankly, discrimination on the back end. If you go into a bank to go get a mortgage, they look you up and down, they size you up, and they give you a certain, term based on your financials. We have literally seen Black families' homes get appraised for half the price as they get appraised for 6 months later when they have their white friend pretend to be the owner.
With Senator Booker.
Yeah.
We did a big thing with real estate reset.
It's so awful, but I think there's something to be said about the next generation.
Yes, it's different.
It's different because
They saw the housing crisis.
they saw a lot of those things happen to their parents.
Right.
They saw the challenges and they're like, well, they're not going to give me a different price when I buy this, on my app, like my Fidelity app. Like, I am going to get a fair shake. I'm going to be in a very liquid asset. I think there's a lot of appeal to that.
Definitely.
It democratizes.
Online lending eliminates 80% of that discrimination, and
Yep.
blacks pay $200 billion a year in extra fees and
Yep.
taxes. So it's
Yeah.
important.
As we're talking about important financial decisions, you also said the most important financial decision you'll ever make is...
Your significant other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now break that down for us.
Okay.
Because, for some people, it's hard to look at marriage and love as something that is a financial decision.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
Of course. We always keep it spicy. Here's the thing. Life is hard. I'm going to just say that. And when I go home, I don't want to be living with a hater at home. Because that person is supposed to be your safe space. Mm-hmm. That person is supposed to open the door, have their arms open, you run into them, and they make you feel safe. They make you feel like the sun shines out of your butt. Great. But I know so many people whose significant others are haters, are secret haters. They are competitive with their partner. They want you to do well, but not better than them. And that is deeply problematic for a number of reasons. But first off, studies have shown that if you have a conscientious partner, you are, on average, every single year going to make 4% more. Mm-hmm. That's money in your pocket. Mm-hmm. If you're conscientious, that's money in your partner's pocket. You are making compounding more and more money every single year because you support each other when things get busy, because you encourage each other to take big opportunities, because you want them to do well, even if it means it outshines you. And the best example I give of this is when I first started dating my husband, and he was like some random dude I met in a bar through a coworker. Like, he made meaningfully more money than me. At the greatest difference, it was probably 3 or 4 years in, he made 3 to 4 times as much as I did. And he never made me feel less than for making less than. He would pay for more of our rent. He would pay for more of our vacations. He would cover more of our dinners. And he was so generous, both with his money, but mostly with his time and his love and his effort. And when I decided to leave my full-time job and take Your Rich BFF full-time, I turned to him and I was like, what if I don't make $1 in the first year that I'm doing this? And he said, do you think we'll starve on my salary? And I was like, okay, Daddy Warbucks, no, we're not. But because he gave me that golden parachute, mm-hmm. I always knew I could pull that parachute. If things got bad, he would always be able to cover the rent. He would always be able to pay for, our dinners, whatever. I was able to make a really big leap. I took Your Rich BFF full time. I started my own company. And it was scary at certain points. But because I could take that big swing, I was able to make so much more. I was able to advance my career. I mean, I'll tell you, the New York Times reported last year, my business made $7 million.
Wow.
I am the breadwinner.
I know that's
High
right.
five on
in my
the air.
family.
I love that.
But I didn't
even having a bidding war for your book.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge deal, though.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
You
built
have
up
to feel
that.
so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. But here's the thing. I didn't get to this position of being the breadwinner in my family without having a conscientious partner who supported me day in and day out. Mm-hmm. He was holding my hand on the days when I was announced, on Time 100 and Forbes 30 Under 30. Sure, he was really there. He was like, yay, love you, amazing. But he was also there when makeup is streaming down my face. I'm in tears. Something's not working. It's the day before I have to go do something, and I didn't sell enough tickets. Nothing works. Everything's terrible. He's been there for both. And I'm telling you, I am a richer woman because of that man.
You
And
hit the
also
partner
sometimes-
lotto.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the dynamics shift too, where he's the breadwinner and
Yeah.
then you're making all this money, because they'll act like they want it and then you do it.
Yeah.
And then that is hard for men too at times.
Yeah, but it's only hard for men if the only thing they bring to the table is money.
Yes.
I want to see men you can bring finances, financial stability. That's what we have told them is really important over the past couple decades. But I want you to bring emotional maturity. I want you to bring like generosity with your time, with your love, with your support. I want to see you pick up around the house. Heaven forbid.
Oh, women are doing 90% of the
all
work
that.
at home.
I would love to see that.
But
No comment.
I would love to see that at home.
Yeah.
if you are a man who does those things, though, if you have a significant other who's a woman and she starts to out-earn you, you still know you bring so much to the table, though. You are literally a provider in more ways than one.
And I think even to your point of not making that person feel less than, because sometimes people will provide but throw it in your face all the time.
Don't do that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, yeah, and remember when I got you that? Like, ew. Gross.
This is deep because there's a woman's side of this issue, too.
Yeah.
What do you both think of this? So the Federal Reserve, so first of all, like 80% of women in the United States are primary breadwinners now.
Yes.
Federal Reserve found that when a woman out-earns her spouse, the majority will still lie to their friends and people around them and say that their spouse out-earns them, even when they out-earn their spouse. What do you think that's about?
I think it's perception. It's helping them keep up the ego, the macho, like the machismo. But I think that does a disservice to the relationship.
It's women throwing themselves away, too.
Yeah, it's like you're downplaying your success because you think other people can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like,
you're worried about what other people think?
This is their partner.
Like, you should shine bright. I mean, like, if I'm honest with you guys, my mom told me, she was like, you should, like, kind of downplay how much you're making when you talk to your husband about it. And I was like, unfortunately for you, I chose a partner who is very, very modern. In that, like, he wants me to make as much as possible. He wants me to do as well as possible. Like, I think in more traditional senses, like in traditional gender norms, like, my mom didn't want me to say how much I was
that's
making.
exactly what that research found.
And it's crazy to me because if you truly love your partner, wouldn't you want them to do the best they could possibly do? And I asked my husband about this, by the way, because I was so curious what he thought. And you know what he said? He was like, you think I don't like free money? You think I don't want to get to the next house sooner? You think I don't want to go on a nicer vacation? And he just laughed about it. And he was like, I know what I'm capable of. And I will say, I do want to caveat this. My husband is a hugely successful individual. Like, great job, great income. In any other reality, he would be our family's breadwinner. I just have a very unique situation right now.
Right.
But, like, I think he is confident enough in himself that I don't need to dim my light for him to feel bright.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love this.
I always joke, I got the last good man in New York City. There are no more.
As a single woman, I think you did.
No, but I honestly, like, I'm just so happy for you. I had a chance to read the book. So much great information. I'm always a forever student. And so even if somebody
I love that about you.
much younger than me is teaching me things, I welcome that and I'm excited about it. Like I said, I've been following you on social media. We actually did some work together in the past too. That was exciting. And so I'm just happy that I had a chance to read this book, well endowed. I feel like we should do like a party at a buffet or something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but except it's only seafood.
Yeah. Like, let's do a party. Everybody come to the buffet, all you can eat, and it'll go crazy.
Amazing.
But congratulations. I already know this is going to be another bestseller.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody listening. Please grab a copy of Well Endowed. You can get one at richbffbook.com.
I wish you were all in here. Vivian is so beautiful and authentic. It's been great to spend time with
She
you.
has
Thank you for
sunshine coming
coming
out of her butt.
Thank you for. I didn't say all that because I don't know if that's something you. I don't know if that's something you want.
You know what? I love that. It's
love
warm
that
and
for you.
fuzzy. I'm glad we got to do this. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Happy
Thank you
Wealth
so
Wednesdays,
much.
everybody.